All right, guys, as you know, these type photos, they come from type 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I've got all kinds of different ones. I'll let you know right now, I did not get a type 2, but I have type 1s, 3s, and 4s. Type 1 means that it comes from the original negative, so is type 2, but type 1 is made within 2 years of the original negative, and type 2 is after 2 years of the original negative. Type 3 comes from a reprint negative and made within 2 years of that reprint negative. Type 4 means it's made after 2 years of that reprint negative. So I guess you want a type 1. So let's check them out. Let's see how I did. Are they type 1s, 3s, or 4s? Because I told you I didn't get a type 2. So I don't know what they look like. Anyway, here it is. This one has, most of the time, you will see things stamped on here, written on here, because they're used for publications like newspapers, magazines, and whatever, and now I guess internet. And it says here, Talking Heads, Australian Pictures Library. Most people buy type 1s for their sports, because most of the time the sports photos are used for the cards that you buy. Let's turn it around. It's David Byrne of the Talking Heads, one of my favorite singers. Prince and David Byrne are my two favorite singers. I got this one slapped. It's a beautiful photo of David Byrne. And this one came back. It says, original photograph, type 1, David Byrne, Talking Heads. Photographer Paul Natkins. Star file, circa 1980s, authentic. So there you go. And usually a type 1 is going to have a lot of information. It's usually going to have the archivist stamp on here, information, the photographer's information, and a lot of times they might even have part of the newspaper clipping taped to it. This one is clean, so it may not be a type 1. A lot of times it's not type 2. Type 1s are usually just filled with all kinds of information on the back, which tells a cool story. That's Robert Duvall right there, and Marlon Brando from The Godfather. This came from a press kit from 1972. Says The Godfather on it. So I had a feeling this is a type 3 because whoever took this original photograph put it in the press kit, and that usually whoever has the original photo, that would be the type 1. And of course, this one says type 3. Authentic 1972, so this came out the same year as the movie. That means it was made within 2 years, but they made a reprint negative, I guess, so they wouldn't ruin the original negative, so they could save that for archives of The Godfather, since this is a classic. It won many Oscars, won Best Picture that year. Francis Ford Coppola, Paramount Pictures, Marlon Brando, but it didn't say Robert Duvall. Publicity photograph. Look at here. This one has got a lot of writing on it. You know, whereas that's why they don't grade type photos, because there's all kinds of information on it, front and back. They're probably soiled, but that's what makes type photos even more desirable when they've got all kinds of stuff written on it and used and abused, because it tells a story, not only the front, but on the back. This is of Star Wars. This is Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill, so you know this is Star Wars. There they are from the original Star Wars A New Hope movie. And as you know, the quality on this photograph is not as nice. I have a press or a type 3 photograph of the same photo, which looks much better. This one is a type 4, 1983. As you know, Star Wars did not come out in 1983. Return of the Jedi did, but you can tell this one came from A New Hope, episode 1 from 1977. So this is definitely a reprint made after 2 years of Star Wars. And this says Photo FA, which is, I think, South American or Central American wire service like UPI or AP. So it says New Service Photograph. Oh, this is really cool. I want to read. So it has the photographer and the information on the back here. March 22nd, 1988, Van Halen and the Scorpions rock groups at a press conference for Van Halen's Monsters of Rock at Universal Studios in Universal City. You got to see this one. This one was the very first type 1 photograph I bought. There's Van Halen right there. There's the Scorpions, and there's all the Monsters of Rock at Universal Studios. So cool. I don't know why Tarzan. This is a Latino Tarzan. I don't consider him a Monsters of Rock or a Universal Monsters. And if you look in the background, these eyes back here, I don't know if he's living or that's a animatronic, but that's King Kong holding a microphone. So it says here, original photograph, Van Halen, Scorpions, Steve Granite's Type 1, authentic 1989 or 88. So this is an original photo. I just loved it. So much going on in here. I spent a few $100s on this, so this is going to be worth probably $1,000. This is clean, no information on the back. This is incredible. Taylor Swift from 2008, from Fearless. This is her record label promoting Taylor Swift. This was her indie record label at the time, Big Machine from Nashville, Tennessee. Look, it even has MySpace. That's where she became famous, on MySpace. This is a Type 3. Like I said, a lot of times press photos of movies and music and stuff, when you have all the information, usually they're Type 3 because they pull from the original negative. It's a reprint made within 2 years, because this was made in 2008, as you see here. And it says a digital printed photograph. That means digital photos are also type photos. And I didn't think they would do that. Like I said, this was experiment only. So they don't have to be real, photos like from the negative. A digital photo, I guess, counts. How they know that, I do not know. But even though this is a clean back, if you don't see anything on it, doesn't mean it can also be a Type 1. It could be a Type 1 because they know by the film stock, the quality of the film, and also the card stock, the stock that the photo is made on. So it doesn't have to have it, but most of the time, 90% of the time, they are. They have to have all the information that's publicized for the publications. Like I said, this is a clean back too. And this is Kurt Cobain of Nirvana. I don't know if you can see this in the photo, but this is very grainy. I knew it probably wasn't going to be a Type 1 photo, but I wanted to send it in just to see what it came back. And of course, this came back a Type 4. This was made in the 2000s, and even says a modern photograph of Kurt Cobain of Nirvana. But, Kurt Cobain died in 1994. So this was made way past 94. This was made probably 10 years later with Kurt Cobain. Last but not least, my favorite one I want to show you. I thought that Van Halen Scorpions was my favorite, but this is my favorite here. It even says Prince on the back. Turn around. Oh my goodness, look at this. There's information for the caption used for the publications, for all the newspapers, magazines, Rolling Stone, wherever this was sent. This is Prince from Purple Rain from '84. And then the label, this is so freaking cool. It says original photo proof Prince, United Press International, which is a press company. One of a kind, folks. This is like a one of one. One of a kind. Type 1 authentic 1985 made. So it was made within, like I said, 2 years. So that makes it a Type 1. If this was made, I don't know, in 87, that would make it a Type 2. So there you go. And I got to read this to you real quick before it runs out. It says, Homecoming. Rock singer Prince brings his Purple Rain home tour Sunday for the first of 5 concerts in St. Paul, despite the efforts of local ministers trying to stop the concert and protest the sexually explicit lyrics in Prince's music. Good thing Prince is alive. He wouldn't be able to play in Florida anymore. There you go. So come see me at the National Convention. There you go. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.